Good evening, good afternoon, good wherever you are in the world. I'm Kalari Cuddles, your derpy small-time Twitch creator, avid World of Warcraft player, and access haver, is that even a word? Of the War Within Alpha for the new expansion coming out for World of Warcraft. I'm happy to bring you a deep dive look into the jewel-encrusted allies, the Earthen. Who are the Earthen? Without going into a massive lore dump, the short answer is our new allies are Titan-forged beings created by the Titanic Keepers. But this video isn't targeted towards their lore. It is a deep dive into their appearances, what classes you can play them as, and their racials. So buckle up, hold on to your butts, or something else dramatic that should be inserted here, and let's get talking. So I must address the first complaint that I've heard across a few people, whether that be on Twitter, other social medias, or even in my own guild, is, oh my gosh, it's just another dwarf. While yes, they are dwarf in nature, these friendos have not been hit with the nasty curse of flesh, as all dwarves as we know and love. So what does that mean? They can't bleed. What else does that mean? That means we don't have to hear Magni tell us about their wounds. Well, with now that addressed, let's go into the race itself. These are the classes you are expected to play on your new Earthen friend. You can be a warrior, a hunter, a mage, a rogue, a priest, a warlock, a paladin, a shaman, a monk, or a death knight. I'm very interested to see how they tie the lore in of what a death knight is to the Earthen, but we'll have to leave that up to the real pros as we all side glance right now and goes, here's looking at you, Blizzard. And with that said, let's look into the customizations as you've already seen some of them as I've been rambling about. So from the get-go, they are a neutral race. So similar to the Pandaren, you will see them sitting on both sides of your screen. So you can either choose a Horde Earthen or an Alliance Earthen. But the race itself is neutral, but given how the game is programmed, you have to make a choice of red pill or blue pill. So whether you're for the Horde or for the Alliance, pick your faction and get straight into customization. You will be able to customize the following on each of your Earthen. You can choose their skin color, their face, their hairstyle, their hair color, their beard style, which is available for both body types, whether they have eyebrows or not, eye color, eyesight, and the eyesight being whether you're blind to one eye or the other eye or both eyes, and that's the customizations for their faces. Now for their body, you can customize the gems, whether their belt has a gem or not, and the color of those gems. The Earthen have some very interesting racials. The first being called Azerite Surge. It is a channeled spell similar to how you see a lot of the evoker abilities work, where you have to hold down the ability and release it when you're ready for different levels of power and so forth. This one will draw upon their inner strength of the Earthen, where they release an Azerite Surge, which the first charge up will do a percentage of their spell power in fire damage or attack power based if you are a caster or a non-caster. The second charge up will heal allies for 100% of their spell power or 100% of their attack power, once again based if you are a caster or non-caster. And lastly, if you charge up all the way to over 9,000 to be the maximum power, this will do an additional fire damage to the highest health enemy. This racial does have a cooldown of 2 minutes, so you will not be able to spam it constantly. It's mostly going to be there for when you just want to add a little extra something. The second racial is called Ingest Minerals. Our Earthen friends do not consume food. They eat minerals instead. So jewel crafters beware, your gems are suddenly on the menu. The color of the gem will mimic that of a food buff. If you've ever been into a dungeon and you had to eat some food, nom 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 nom, before the mythic encounter starts, the raid encounter, whatever it is you're doing, and wow, you get a buff that is, well, a buff to one of your secondary stats. The same will apply here, but instead of food, it will be minerals. So if you eat a amber gem or amber mineral, you'll get a stamina buff. If you eat emeralds, you'll get a haste buff. If you eat onyx, you'll get a mastery buff. If you eat a ruby, you'll get a critical strike buff. And sapphire will give versatility. Now, I didn't find anything on whether it mimics 100%, but it does say that you are well fed, and I do believe when you are well fed, you get a 1 hour buff of whatever it is that food, or in this case, the mineral, is buffing. So get to eating those minerals. The third racial is hyperproduction or hyperproductive, which will give a 2% increase to their finesse. So if you're a crafter toon or you plan to be a toon that is a mule for professions, this would be a viable option to choose. Now, finesse really only benefits those who are gathering reagents. So you're skinning, you're herbing, you're mining. Finesse was introduced in Dragonflight when they revamped the crafting system, and it is the attribute that increases your chance to gather more reagents from resource nodes. So whether your mining axe is plundering those ores, or you're skipping through a field picking flowers, or you're a murder hobo that kills poor defenseless animals and skins their faces because you're totally not a serial killer, whatever it is you do crafting in World of Warcraft, this will benefit you. So gathering more resources so you can ultimately craft more is always a good gain in my book. The fourth racial is Titan Wrought Frame. This is you will get based armor from the equipped items that you have at 10%, which all I can say as someone who has been a main tank in previous Mythic seasons, raiding and even off tanking back 9,000 years ago when that was a thing in World of Warcraft. This is a great option if you plan to tank. If you are a tank main and you want to try out the Earthen, as I said before, and what classes are available, you can be a warrior, you can be a paladin, and you can be a death knight. So you have 3 tank specs where this would be a nice option. So it will be very interesting to see how they play as a tank. And lastly, they have the racial Wide-Eyed Wonder. It reads wrong on Wowhead, but that's okay. Sometimes things that are still in alpha that aren't 100% worked out don't always have everything worded correctly. But basically what this means is when you enter a new area and you explore it for the first time, you get experience. The Earthen will get a little more experience than the average player. So if you decide to level up one from level 10, hey, go explore everything. Take this time to get your exploration achievements so you can get those lovely toys that unlock all the flight paths and, spam all your friends with your achievements for exploring all those zones. This is a perfect time to do that because you will get, a little extra experience. While yes, it's not probably the most viable option for leveling, but hey, a little experience is better than no experience. We currently at this time do not know how we recruit the Earthen. And I do mean recruit, not recruit, like I just said. But hopefully we will soon find out how we meet our new Earthen friends and how we can make one of every class on our account and delve straight into the war within. In the past, like in Dragonflight, we were able to acquire the new race right at pre-patch to level them up and have them ready for when the expansion drops. But we have also had moments where the title race was something unlocked later on in the game, like in Battle for Azeroth with the cool Tyrants. But we're going to have to sit and wait and find out how we meet our new Earthen friends. Whether it's at pre-patch so we can level them up and have them ready for War Within, or if they are going to be a drop later on in the game. And that's my deep dive on the Earthen race. So my question is, will you be playing the Earthen? If so, comment below on what class and spec you plan to play. And if you liked this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and me a follow. A link to all my social medias are included as well. So if you'd like to catch me when I'm live streaming or posting random weird stuff on the internet related to World of Warcraft, then you can get a look-see. Other than that, thank you for your time. And remember, stay cuddly.